Welcome back to High School Backhouse Podcast. My name is Jake, and we are here for episode 71. We're gonna have a good one for you today. Obviously, Nick is not here, so as per usual, I am filling in. We're gonna start with some baseball news, some generic news. Gonna go through baseball, the World Lacrosse Championship, and some soccer news. Austin, why don't you get us started with Domingo Germán's perfect game?
Let's go Yankees.
Fuck the Yankees.
So I have to.
I just want to say first off, Kyle, do you want to take back anything you said about us a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I have hope again, and I am ready to get demolished.
Yeah, I was about to say,
October.
don't ever have hope. It only crushes you.
I have hope. I have hope again, so I am ready to get heartbroken. But that's where I'm at.
Some of that hope came in the form of those who don't know. Domingo Germán, Yankees starting pitcher. He had a perfect game. I believe it was last Wednesday, correct, Kyle?
Yeah, it was right after we. No, I think it was the same day as the podcast. I think it was last Tuesday. I think we had just finished. I think we had just finished.
No,
I
think it was Wednesday. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he pitched a perfect game. Now, granted, all those haters out there against the A's, who are definitely, arguably a AAA team, anyways. But they actually have some real players, and they're I want to say they're a decent team, but I can't justify that. They are honestly going to be probably one of the worst teams in MLB history. So take that as a grain of salt, I guess, if you wish. Either way, a perfect game is a perfect game, and that's very hard to do. 27 up, 27 down only happens every,
decade.
There's only been 24 in MLB history.
24.
And 4 of those are the Yankees. So pretty significant there. The Yankees had 2 in the late 90s, 98, 97, or 97, 98. And then they had this one, obviously, this year. And then the last one was in 2012. Rest in peace, Felix Hernandez.
Did you just say rest in peace? He's not dead. What are you talking about?
Bro,
What?
Most people, maybe.
Oh, I was thinking of.
You're thinking of Fernandez.
Yeah, he's alive, like Tupac.
Yeah,
Felix Hernandez is
Marlins.
Indeed not dead.
What's that guy's first name?
Aaron Hernandez?
No, not him.
No. Oh my lord.
Wrong sport, Justin.
Well, I heard Fernandez, and I thought of
Conveniently,
Hernandez.
he's actually not alive. Oh god.
Hold on, Austin. I got you.
Sorry, Nick's not here. I had to say something controversial.
Jose
I'm sorry,
Fernandez.
guys. We have a checklist
Bro.
we have on the side of what we have to say for every episode.
Oh my lord. Okay, moving
Anyway.
on. Thank you, Austin, for telling us about
Yeah,
history being
anyway.
made in New York.
All of that was awesome, and the Yankees have hope again.
Fun fact.
Hey,
I can't wait till they crush you.
Hold on.
Yep.
all we have to do is get to October, and we can beat the Phillies.
Oh, my
Fun
lord.
fact. Every single time a Yankees pitcher has pitched a perfect game, they went on to win the World Series.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we'll see.
Also-
we'll see about it.
also just so happens that the Phillies record that they reached a couple weeks ago when they were at that exact point, they also went on to win the World Series in 2008. So, it's likely that there's history for both odds that we got a Yankees-Phillies matchup here.
You want to hear one more interesting thing?
Go for
Yeah.
it.
The last 3 seasons, some historical thing that every time we've done it as the Yankees,
Got broken.
we're going to win it. Yeah, guess what? That happened like the last 3 seasons where they did something that hadn't been done except when they win the World Series every time, and we've failed all 3 times. So
Yeah,
This
keep
is our
failing, boys.
chance, Austin.
I don't know.
This is
I kind
our
of want.
chance.
I want
Keep
the
failing.
Yankees season to just barely miss the playoffs, and the difference would be a game against like the Mets or the Red Sox. That'd be
Dude.
great.
If it was the Mets that I would tolerate a loss to the Red Sox more than I would the Mets. I hate the Mets.
Yep.
I need to bring
Hey.
my friend
Yo, dude,
Abby
Frank
on
the
here to go
Tank.
nuts on you. She's a big Mets fan.
There's a reason I call Mets fans little brother, okay?
Bro,
There's a
I
reason.
mean, technically, lately.
Just like any little brother, you use him as a doorstop.
Lately,
Exactly.
lately, we're both little brothers, so it's
I mean,
Okay, hold on.
fair.
the Mets have paid for they have the highest payroll of any sport around the world.
What are you paying
In
Giancarlo
history.
Stanton right now?
Way more than he's worth. But
Yeah.
the point is, the Mets are way worse than us, and they have a lot higher payroll. And
That's fair.
that's the highest payroll in all of history for when it comes to sports teams, and they are
Oh, so
like
you're
what?
telling me that
their
they're
division?
bankrolled? They got more money than the Yankees.
Yes, they do. Cohen is spending.
I'm fucking with you. Obviously, that's wonderful. Perfect game is something that you don't see very often. Obviously, there's only been 24 in the history of baseball. And what?
Sorry,
Baseball's
it's
been going
wasted
on
with the
for
Yankees, but
120 years,
in the
130,
over that.
in the
13
modern
decades.
era
So you get
is
like 2 a decade.
1900.
You get 2
Also,
a decade.
fun fact, Jake.
What's
the Yankees are paying Giancarlo so the contract is 160 million, but the Marlins are still paying 30 million of it.
Yeah, but how much are they paying him this year? At about 146.
It's 160 divided by 5. So 130 divided by 5, I guess. So
130 divided by 5.
It's like 26 or something.
20, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a lot of money to pay somebody to about 136 with like 2 home runs. So
Sad part is we're playing Josh Donaldson like
yeah,
20 million.
to not do anything. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have 2 Bobby Vanillas on your roster. Moving on.
He's batting 207, by the way. Take it back.
No,
Jake.
he's still batting so bad it doesn't matter. It's egregious that you're paying
Take it back.
26
7
And what's
home
crazy
runs.
is-
Take back your
and-
nonsense.
And the thing is, it's always nice when we see groundbreaking moments like these, but also the worst teams get really good records sometimes because Nick Foles threw 7 touchdowns in the game. So,
Bro, don't even remind me about Nick Foles tying an NFL record. Okay, moving on to the world.
Wait! Before we get to lacrosse, I just want to say I saw this thing on TikTok, and someone was trying to argue that Nick Foles' championship is one of the greatest of all time, and I was like, stop it! This is not true.
Bro, that team went 14-1 with Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz deserved that ring. He should not have gotten hurt. Anyway,
Well, Carson Wentz played out of his
dominated-
mind, but like that team was just stacked. It really like all Nick Foles had to do was not fuck it up.
and that, yeah,
he almost did. Anyway, moving
quarterback.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Big Dick Nick is one of my favorite stories of all time, but damn, all he had to do,
Big Dick Nick.
literally, all he had to do was not fuck it up, and I mean, he played out of his mind. But okay, let's move on to the World Lacrosse Championship medals. Obviously, the United States got gold because, you know what, we own lacrosse. Screw you, Canada. We're better than you at both of your national sports.
I don't know about hockey. That's a bold take.
The Haudenosaunee Nation ended up with 3rd place. Australia was in 4th. Somehow Japan was in 5th. I didn't even know they knew what lacrosse was.
Dude,
and apparently the top 5 automatically qualify for the 2026 World Championship. All I got to tell you is that lacrosse is on the rise in America, and I fucking love it.
So the Lacrosse World Championships for the first time ever were actually displayed on ESPN and ESPN Plus this year. Lacrosse has been growing exponentially ever since the PLL started 4 years ago now. So it's as someone who played the sport in middle school, I love that I actually get. Listen, it's something I got a chance to play in, Steve. I know you're laughing.
I played in high school and
I didn't
should have
get a
played in
chance to play in
college,
high
but I tore an
I
artery in my
wanted
neck.
to. I wanted to play in high school. I just sucked at it. So I got to. It's okay. I got to watch it. That's why I'm a backup, buddy.
Point of the story
That's
is that I'll be
why
teaching
I'm a
Kyle's
backup.
kids how to play lacrosse.
That's why I'm a backup. Hey.
I just
I wasn't very.
Steve, do you know the name of our podcast? That's why I'm a backup, buddy.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair.
I think it's just
Back
like
up.
'cause I used to play in middle school.
Hey,
Oh,
I
sorry.
scored the game winner once, but anyway.
For the record,
Okay.
lacrosse is actually wonderful. I fucking love lacrosse. It's so
It is.
fun.
Look, lacrosse is so underrated, and I'm happy it's finally getting national attention. Japan beat England to qualify for that 5th spot, which
Please
is
tell me better.
amazing.
I wish they had beaten them on July 4th. That would have been fucking
dude.
hilarious.
So it's awesome to see that the top 5 are now in Pool A, which is always the toughest pool to play in. When it comes to it, the Haudenosaunee.
What country is that?
Haudenosaunee, and it's an
Haudenosaunee.
it's a Native
It's a-
American tribe.
Yeah, so it's Iroquois.
Ah,
It's a tribe of the Iroquois Nation, Justin.
gotcha.
And
I was
so
trying
for-
to. I was actually reading that. I'm like,
For
what the hell is
reference,
that?
Kyle, you might know this.
Yes.
Didn't the Iroquois invent lacrosse?
They did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. They sure.
That's
did.
also
They
when
used, to use
lacrosse
it as
was.
they used to use it as a mode of war, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yes, it was a giant open field, and you were allowed to basically kill each other. It's very violent.
Now let's
Well,
move
it
on
was
to the
war.
Let's move on to the biggest news of the weekend before we get to soccer.
That makes
The
sense.
absolute athletic goat Joey Chestnut won his 16th title and 8 straight.
Yep.
The 2-hour delay
62.
fucked him up. He should have gone for 77, but 62 is fine with a 2-hour delay. Absolute athletic GOAT, better than Tom Brady, better than MJ,
Yes.
better than Michael Phelps. Joey
Jake.
Chestnut is the peak of athleticism.
Do you remember last year, Jake, when
Bro,
you
it's a
swore
hobby. I don't
up
give a
and
fuck.
down? No,
I'm literally
no,
making a
Jake.
joke right now.
Hold on, Jake. When you
What?
swore adamantly that professional eating was
Because
not a
it's
sport.
not.
Yes, it
Because
is.
it's not.
Jake, Joey Chestnut has 53 world records.
That's wonderful.
53.
It's not a sport.
55. Sorry, Steve.
So
one of them
I
is
looked-
eating 54 cow brain tacos in 8 minutes.
Yo,
I
that's...
couldn't eat half of a cow
I'm not
brain
gonna
taco.
lie. Anytime I watch that, anytime I watch the hot dog eating
Yeah.
competition, it makes me want to yak. But also, it's the greatest
Love
thing ever.
Yeah.
Just
you ready?
looking at the images of him, it makes me want to throw up
Bro-
just based on like his face.
Steve,
and
what were
Some
you
of
gonna
those,
say?
hold
Steve,
on a
what were you
minute.
saying?
Some of those dudes dip the hot dog buns in Gatorade. That's fucking
Yeah.
disgusting.
They did.
It is
Sorry,
kind
go
of
ahead,
disgusting.
Steve. Go ahead.
So ready? Want to hear some fun? So here's some of his biggest achievements: 76 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, 141 hard-boiled eggs in 8 minutes, 55 glazed donuts in 8 minutes, 53 Taco Bell soft shell tacos in 10 minutes,
Bro.
32 Big Macs in 38 minutes, 102 tamales in 12 minutes, and then just for fun, 25 and a half ice cream sandwiches in 6 minutes. You know how fucking... You know the
Bro.
brain freeze this bro's gotta have after 25 ice cream sandwiches?
He ate a 17 and a half pound pie in 8 minutes.
That,
Dude, this is
All
a
right.
sport, Jacob. Admit it.
I
it's
gotta
not a
say-
sport, bro. I don't give a fuck.
So
Listen.
anyone at home, look up the off-season routine of another of actually just Joey Chestnut, but also another one I know called Randy Santel, because specifically he actually trains for 4 months out of the year to lose all that weight. And how he trains is he'll eat 5 pounds of quinoa or 3 whole watermelons to train for these challenges.
Bro, it makes
Then he
like,
goes and bikes for an entire day.
I mean, listen, that's sick. It's wonderful. Still not a sport.
Yes,
Sport.
it is. The sport.
Andrew, before we get to soccer news, there was a trade that just came across the sleeper wire. The Celtics are currently finalizing a 3-team deal with the Dallas Mavericks and San Antonio Spurs to send Grant Williams to the Mavericks. The Spurs will get Reggie Bullock in an unprotected Dallas pick swap in 2030, and the Celtics acquire more second-round picks, so they're apparently just stacking second-round picks. This is like the fourth trade they've made to acquire second-round picks.
And I'm fine without Grant Williams.
Yeah,
I wonder who they're going for then.
I mean, I think they're just clearing cap space at this point. They've been linked to Dame. A lot of Dame rumors with the Celtics.
Yeah, but Dan doesn't want to go to Boston.
I
But
think his
also-
tone could change if he talks to somebody, including Kevin Garnett and or Jason Tatum.
But I mean, not to be like skeptical or anything of it, but like Dame was on his Instagram live, and Tatum, and he kept saying like he didn't want to be in Boston, or he didn't want to be there, and then like Tatum was on it, and he said,
What
"We
is
get
that?
it. We don't want you to be in Boston."
Sorry, I just had something come up on my end. That was weird. But yeah, no. I mean, I know what Dame has said. He only wants to be in Miami. I think his tone will change at some point in the next week. It might not be to Boston, but it could go somewhere else. I don't think Dame.
New York, Nick.
Does he?
He doesn't
Does he
want to.
have a
Nobody
trade
wants to fucking
clause?
play in New York.
Does
Nobody-
he have a trade clause on his contract?
No, they can trade him anywhere.
So like it's not up to him. So like if Boston decides to say, "Hey, we have the best options for you," like why not? But
Yeah.
I feel like Miami has the better options of giving up Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero for that.
I mean,
Which
it
we can
depends
go
on-
into it at a further point.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about it at some point more in depth once we've analyzed the trade and seeing everything like that. We'll also talk about Dame at some point in the near future, especially after he gets traded. But that did come across the wire, and I wanted to make sure we talked about it. Andrew, go ahead. Give me some soccer news, man. Let's go.
All right, so Gold Cup has been going on. We are now reaching the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals start this weekend. In the quarterfinals, we have Mexico versus Costa Rica,
Probably gonna lose.
Panama versus Qatar, Guatemala versus Jamaica, and the United States versus Canada again. So, with this all leading up, the United States has been on a firing lately of going completely off. They've won their last 2 matches with 6+ goals. but it's against like Trinidad and Tobago and another small nation team that really doesn't have that many big star players. But the fact that they're winning 6-0 with their second team is kind of just proving a point that the United States is coming in to win another championship and bringing home more trophies and gold for the whole team, which is good. And then you look at Mexico, who lost 1-0 to Qatar, who was invited to this tournament as an outside the United States and conference team, and they they're showing up and kind of just like proving a point, like why they were the host nation in the World Cup and why they are a pretty decent team to be skeptical about. And then you have the underdog in Guatemala, who's looking to prove a point against Jamaica, who's also a pretty strong team to deal with. And then you have, think I said Costa Rica and Panama. Yeah, Costa Rica and Panama have had a great rivalry against each other, and those teams will put up a lot of fight. I would take a lot into this going into the final stretch of this championship run. This will be the end of the summer matches for the United States for international play on the men's side as we get into then women's soccer for the Women's World Cup. But that will be a different time. And then the other news that I have is that the transfer window for soccer, for club soccer, has opened up. So there's a lot of player movement going on right now. And I will be posting a lot about it on my Twitter, on the High School Backup Soccer Twitter account. So please go follow that. You guys can keep up with any the information on that.
All right, we're gonna move into our debate segments for the week for this week, and we're gonna start with the NHL draft recap, biggest winners and losers. Kyle and I will be talking about this. Kyle, why don't you start us off with just an NHL draft recap, and then give me some of your winners and losers from the draft.
Yeah, so as everyone and their mother predicted, Connor Bedard went first overall to the Chicago Blackhawks. If he didn't, I think that would have broke Twitter because everyone was expecting it. So Connor Bedard went to the Blackhawks. That was obviously expected. What wasn't expected that ended up happening was Leo Carlsson ended up going second overall to the Ducks. That was kind of a little out of left field pick. Leo Carlsson was projected top 5, but not a lot of people thought he would go second overall. So that was a little strange pick. And Adam Fantilli went third overall. He grew up just outside of Columbus, and he grew up watching the Blue Jackets as his favorite team, and now he gets to play for them. He got, I know, right? Imagine growing up an Ohio sports fan. That sucks, right?
Yeah.
And,
you have to grow up in Ohio, but
yeah.
Oh my lord, keep going, Kyle.
So my first overall winner is going to be the Blackhawks. Obviously, they drafted generational talent, but it's not just for them. For that reason, I'm giving them as the winner. I'm making them a winner too because of who they drafted at 19th overall. Oliver Moore was someone who could have gone top 15, even top 10, and he slid all the way to 19th. And he's just one of the fastest centers available in the draft. So Chicago was being able to get him there was an absolute win. And a lot of people, including myself, are really thinking that Moore and Bedard are now going to be that 1-2 punch for the Blackhawks. My loser of the night was the Maple Leafs, drafting at 28th overall. They drafted Easton Cowan, and if you don't know who that is, don't worry. No one knew who that was. He was projected to go in the 4th round, and ended up going 28th overall. So Maple Leafs decided to...
Oh, they pulled a Bill Belichick.
They did pull a Bill Belichick. He went absolutely right. They went random. I'm also. I don't know what the Leafs are thinking, dude, but it's okay.
They do whatever they want, dude. Who cares?
There's a reason they haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. So that's besides the point.
That's fair.
My next winner is going to be the San Jose Sharks. First, they drafted a guy named Will Smith.
Yeah, the Fresh Prince of San Jose, bro.
Dude, when he was drafted, his walk-up song was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So that's absolutely iconic. But they also drafted a guy named Quentin Musty. And he is someone that a lot of people are thinking could have gone top 10. He ended up going bottom 20. So that was a great steal for the Sharks there. My next loser is the Arizona Coyotes.
God damn it, Kyle. You stole it.
What?
You stole
I
it.
did steal it.
You
Dude,
stole
the Coyotes.
mine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I stole it.
We got to
but I
start
had
going
to.
back and forth with these.
All right. I'm sorry. I forgot you were also
It's
talking
okay. It's
about
okay.
this.
Come
My
on.
bad.
Come on.
I'll let you go after
No,
this.
no, you're good. You're good.
The Coyotes absolutely had one of the worst drafts I had ever seen on night one. They drafted Simashev. I don't know who that was coming into the night. That's okay. But then they also drafted Daniel Butt. Best last name I think I've ever heard.
Is it spelled that way?
B-U-T. It's just B-U-T.
It's just one T, but
Ah.
almost. But
In the NFL, it was Jake Butt.
Yeah, there's Jake
Yes.
Butt. He's tight in the league.
He was projected to go
There's
in
a
the
guy named
second
Chris
round.
Blewett, too.
Yes, that's true. He was projected to go in the second round, and he ended up getting drafted in the top 20. So the Coyotes kind of reached a little bit, especially when they had another pick coming up. Go ahead,
teams
Jake.
reach
No,
all
man,
the
you
time.
stole my loser. I was like, okay, it's
I
gonna be the
did.
Coyotes. Like they drafted a no name at number 6. So now I'm just gonna troll you and tell you the biggest losers are the Rangers because they drafted a dude I've never heard of and probably will never see the light of the
Dude,
NHL. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Gabriel Perot. Okay, no,
I'm
you
kidding.
say that.
I'm
That's
fucking
not
with you,
true.
bro.
Gabriel Perot was a steal.
No,
but
I'm
anyway.
I'm absolutely fucking with you. Honestly, I think the biggest winners, or at least one of my winners, are the Detroit Red Wings. They are in rebuild mode. They get a center and defenseman. I think are going to be key pieces for that rebuild. They're starting to come back up, but honestly, they've been gone too long. And Detroit, hockey is better when the Detroit Red Wings are good. I don't care what anybody says. Biggest losers are probably the Ducks. I mean, obviously Leo Carson's supposed to go top 5, but he wasn't projected to go top 3, and there's a reason for that. So taking him at 2 is a little bit of a stretch, and that's really the 2 I got because you stole my Coyotes thing.
Sorry, buddy.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
You are absolutely correct that Leo Carson. There's a reason why I had him not in the top 5 because I just didn't think any team really needed him. If the Ducks wanted a center so bad, they could have drafted Adam Fantilli.
Let me roll with the biggest winner being the Seattle Kraken. Why? I don't know. It's just the Seattle Kraken. They're always winners.
Not in free agency, unfortunately, but that's the point. I do have another winner and another loser. So my last winner, I have the Buffalo Sabres. They drafted Zach Benson at 13 when he was projected to be in the top 10. Probably wouldn't have gone 13th overall if the Coyotes actually drafted the way the Coyotes were supposed to. So Buffalo can thank Arizona for having a future superstar fall into their lap at 13th. And my last loser is every single hockey fan in the world because there wasn't a single trade during round 1, which is
that's so boring.
That's boring as shit.
The first time since 2007 that no trades happened in the first round. Oh, it's happened a few times, but this is the first time since 2007 that it hasn't happened.
No wonder nobody watches hockey. It's not draft night isn't exciting.
It normally is. It normally is. I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, when is there a trade?
Okay, Kyle, but we also just had like a killer like NFL draft where the Texans just came out of nowhere and just got the second and third pick. So
so you know that feeling that you see where
Cardinals
teams
are definitely going to have 2 like top 10 picks next year because of that trade.
Yes.
Yes.
But Steve, you know that feeling that we all had in NFL draft night where teams were suddenly trading a lot? That happens every year in hockey, Steve. Literally, that happens.
Clearly not this year.
Every year in every major draft.
Yes.
Except maybe baseball.
Not baseball.
I don't watch.
You can't trade draft picks.
That's so stupid. Well, I guess you trade prospects instead, right?
Yeah, it's a whole long thing. The MLB draft is really confusing.
There's like 12 rounds.
They also have it in the middle of the fucking season. It makes no sense. Okay, off topic. But, Kyle, thank you for that segment. Thank you for recapping the NHL draft for us. Obviously, one of the more exciting nights for any fan base is draft night. That includes the NHL, includes the NFL, definitely. We are actually, speaking of football, going to move into a college football segment. The Big Ten is making some changes, boys. First and foremost, for those of you who don't know, USC and UCLA have inexplicably agreed to join the Big Ten, so now they're going to be traveling to the Midwest and East Coast to play football games for the next however many years they're in the Big Ten. And to accommodate this, the Big Ten said, we need to make some scheduling changes, and they invented what is called Flex Protect Plus. Catchy, right, guys? Catchy.
That's It's gonna be really stupid.
FTP.
Fuck no! Don't say that to me.
FTP.
Fuck no! Don't say that to me. I don't think you understand what that means to me because that's what people said about my high school constantly.
Oh, no.
But oh wait, no, FTP, not FPP. Never mind. My bad.
FTP.
My bad. I apparently just went through some trauma real quick on stream. But actually,
Jake, this is a support session. Is everything okay?
Don't
It's
ask.
the bar getting to you.
Oh man. So I'm dead. That's funny. I actually generally like this. For the record, they've done 11 protected matchups that we'll go through in depth in a minute. Because the conference is expanding to 16 teams, they're essentially guaranteeing that every team will play twice over a 4-year span. And it eliminates divisions entirely, so there's no more Big Ten East and Big Ten West, or whatever it was called. I think it was like Legends and something else. I forget.
Whatever. I don't.
Ohio
It was
State and
essentially
Michigan.
East and West.
Ohio State and Michigan are not going to be the top 2 teams in the conference anymore and not play each other in a championship game. We will not get Michigan Purdue ever again.
Well, we might. You can't say never.
Not
again,
when Purdue
right?
is 7-5.
Fair, yeah. That's
So the schedule's going to work with a 9-game league schedule. They'll play 9 interconference games every year. Every team will play each other at least twice over a 4-year span, which I said, and it protects matchups. Again, we'll get more on that later. Kyle, generally when it looks like it, what are you thinking about the Big Ten's Flex Protect Plus schedule?
FPP.
He's ecstatic.
Okay, so yes and no. I am ecstatic to an extent, but I think I need to actually see it in like fruition. Like on paper, it looks really good. Like I am excited to not have a division. I've always said that the SEC needs to do away with divisions too.
No.
I think every conference needs to get rid of divisions. To be honest,
No.
I just don't. I hate it. I think the top 2 teams should be the top 2 teams, regardless of having a division in your conference. So, Jake, stop it. So like I'm a huge fan of that. The thing that I'm like iffy on are these protected matchups.
You're iffy
Some
on
of
these? I love these.
I'm iffy. No, because some of them are great. Like obviously we'll still get Michigan, Ohio State. We'll get UCLA, USC. But who's really gonna tune into a Maryland Rutgers game?
Yeah, that one doesn't make any fucking sense.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, they
Who's gonna
protected
tune
Maryland
in-
Rutgers.
Who's gonna tune into an Iowa Minnesota game? I'm sorry.
I might watch that, actually. Those are fun games to watch, dude. Actually,
I'm just
Iowa
not-
Minnesota's fun. Not
Like-
not in recent years because Minnesota's kind of fallen off a cliff, but normally those are very hard hitting football games. I love Big Ten football.
I'm excited for like the obviously the classic matchups that we'll still get. Like I'm excited for that.
So sorry, go ahead, Kyle. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I'm just iffy on it being like actually put together because like some of these are weird, and I think you're just about to list them all, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm about to say the 11 protected matchups are, of course, Michigan, Ohio State, which makes more than enough sense. It's the biggest grosser for the Big Ten, including the Big Ten title game. It's even more when it's the Big Ten title game. You get Michigan, Ohio State. You have UCLA and USC, which again makes sense. Keep them on the West Coast for at least one game a year, I guess. Minnesota and Wisconsin, which is a historic rivalry. You want to preserve that. Okay, I get it. Indiana, Purdue makes very little sense, but I guess there's probably more to that rivalry than I'm thinking about right now. Michigan State and Michigan's a big one. You like having that. Iowa, Minnesota, regardless of what Kyle says, makes a lot of sense. Illinois and Northwestern, I get it because they're both in Illinois, but like because I think Northwestern is in Chicago, but I don't know. I don't know what the historic rivalry is there. Iowa and Nebraska makes a lot of sense. Maryland and Rutgers don't have a historic rivalry, so I don't understand why they're trying to faux pas here.
It's the 2 East Coast teams, Jake.
Yeah,
That's what
I know,
it is.
but like they're trying to fake a rivalry here, and it's not one. Like Rutgers could give a fuck about Maryland, and Maryland could give a fuck about Rutgers.
I feel bad for when Maryland has to travel out to LA and get jet lagged for
they will also get their ass kicked.
Or when UCLA has to travel east, though, Justin.
Yeah, if UCLA or UCLA or USC has to travel to Rutgers, that is a cross the country twice every 4 years at a minimum.
For college students too.
Yeah.
They're already sleep deprived and full of Adderall and vodka, so we'll see. Best of luck to them.
You got Iowa, Wisconsin, which makes a lot of sense, and Illinois, Purdue. Again, that one kind of a historic rivalry. Not like the protected matchups for the most part. I think outside of two of them make a lot of sense. I like them, and then obviously
You know what?
like go ahead, Kyle.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, you know what's really strange about all these protected matchups?
What?
There's one big school that's not guaranteed a protected matchup.
Who are they missing?
Penn State.
Ah, that's hilarious.
Well,
I didn't even see that.
Literally one of the biggest teams, especially on the East Coast for the Big Ten,
I mean,
doesn't get a guaranteed
a
matchup.
whiteout at Penn State. How are you not going to guarantee me a whiteout at Penn State once a year?
Exactly.
I can't believe I didn't notice that. Thank you, Kyle. That's nuts.
You're welcome. I was staring
Hey.
at it and I was like, come on.
Rutgers and
Yeah,
Maryland
Rutgers
just
and
make more
Maryland
sense,
just
don't
made
they?
more sense. You couldn't protect Penn State and Michigan or Penn State and Ohio State. It had to be Maryland and Rutgers.
It's weird. I'm excited to at least see them try this. I like. It'll be interesting. I think it will make more sense for USC and UCLA. I think it will make a lot more sense because I think they also are doing this with the hopes that they're going to continue expanding. So they want to have
who are you
this.
gonna add? Like
You can add anyone from the Pac-12 that wants to leave. You can add Oregon State. You can even, if you don't even want to take teams from the Pac-12, you can add Boise State. You can add
Boise
Utah.
State doesn't belong in the Big Ten, bro.
They could though.
They don't belong in the Big Ten.
No.
What?
Right now,
Oklahoma joined the
if
Big
you-
Ten.
Oklahoma's going to the SEC,
Yeah,
so
Oklahoma
they're not.
and Texas
well.
are going to the SEC.
They're not. I could see like I don't think any team that's in
Oklahoma
the
State-
Big 12 right
I
now
think
would.
Oklahoma State would.
Oklahoma State would go to the Big Ten. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
think
could see
they'd do
that. But no, but Jake, I could see Boise State becoming one of those iconic Big Ten programs. Like obviously, as it is right now in form. You're telling me you don't think the iconic blue football field wouldn't look badass with the Big Ten Network logo on there?
It'd look
Come on.
badass, but saying they'd be an iconic program in the Big Ten is just
It would be.
astronomical to me.
No, it would be 100% having
No.
Boise State, dude. That blue field's
Bro,
iconic.
Boise State hasn't even been
Iconic.
relevant for like 7 years.
Yeah, but they
Well-
could be if they get Big Ten funding. Big Ten.
Do they still play in
recruitment.
the fucking WAC? Or is the WAC gone? The WAC's gone. The WAC's been gone.
Yeah,
the Western
they
Athletic
left.
Conference has been gone. What am I
Well,
saying?
no, the WAC does exist.
I've
I just
been
don't think
playing-
it exists for football.
No, it doesn't exist for
hold
football. I've been playing too much NCAA 14.
on. Dude, iconic. They play in the Mountain West. They play in the Mountain West right now.
They moved to the Mountain West. No, if they aren't in the Pac-12, moving to the Big Ten makes no sense. But
Well, they're not in the Pac-12. That's what I'm saying. Like,
they should be in the
The
Pac-12
boys-
is what I'm saying. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't
okay,
matter.
sure. But I'm saying also if the Big Ten's looking to expand, I would look more instead of poaching teams from the Pac-12, poach teams that
No, you
are
gotta
in
you
there.
gotta poach teams that can compete right away. Because I even think USC and UCLA
Why?
are gonna, because teams struggle when they move conferences. Like historically,
Yeah,
they
they're gonna struggle. Exactly,
And
they're
so-
going to struggle regardless. So why not?
Yeah, but
And
struggling
no matter
for
what
Oregon
program-
is 9-3. Struggling for Boise State in the Big Ten is 2-10.
Yeah,
Destroying
but
their program.
Even if you think, yeah, but UCLA and USC are going to struggle moving to the Big Ten.
USC is probably going to go 10-2 their first year in conference, losing to Michigan and Ohio State.
When is it? It's 2025, right?
Yeah, probably like that.
24, 25 is
I
when
think
they're
it might be
moving
next
over?
year. Yeah, I think it might be next year. I think they tried to do it immediately. UCLA could struggle a little bit more, but I like Chip Kelly, so I think they'd probably go 8-4, 9-3, which is still struggling for both of those programs at this point in their respective timelines. But if you bring in Boise State, they're going from 9-3 in the Mountain West to 2-10 in the Big Ten. I understand what you're trying to say. I just don't think it'll work the way you think it's going to.
I do.
Again, thoughts. Generally, I like the fact that, they kept most of the historic matchups. Apparently, they forgot to include Penn State. Big Ten, get your shit together. I think UCLA and USC are going to struggle, especially their first couple years. Their fit in the conference confuses me because they're out in SoCal and everybody else in the Big Ten is in the Midwest to the Northeast. It's a positive move for them, though. You add USC, who's a national title contender. We won't ever have to see an 8-4 Purdue team play Michigan ever again in the conference championship game. We will not be deprived of the second Michigan-Ohio State game. Ask me how salty I am that we were deprived of Michigan kicking Ohio State's ass for a second time in 2 weeks.
I know.
I was so mad.
I wanted to see it again. One thing I will say, though, I mean, you think both Cal teams will struggle for a couple of years. You think they might vote to get them back out of the Big Ten, and then they just get pissed off and play teams in the area and demolish them?
No, they'll keep USC and UCLA in the Big Ten.
They'll keep them, and then you'll see the Colorado Buffaloes come out of nowhere.
You'll see Deion Sanders come out of nowhere and RKO everybody.
That would be great. I want more of
the
him.
Big Ten around. Beats the Pac-12. Takes everyone with him.
Also, otherwise, I think they did a good job maximizing TV value in the protected matchups. Again, except for leaving out Penn State here, which makes really no sense. Thank you again for pointing that out, Kyle.
You're welcome.
I think I literally in my notes here have, who cares about Maryland and Rutgers? Like, who fucking cares? I would rather protect Penn State and Maryland, bro.
Watch that become an iconic rivalry. Like in 10, 15 years, we look back on it as like some of the greatest college football games on ESPN.
In 5 years, both of them become top-ranked teams in the country. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
If that happens, I will actually laugh my ass off on it.
Honestly, I could see that more happening for Maryland than happening for Rutgers.
Yeah, Maryland maybe. But again, on the other hand, I like it. I think it's going to be fine in practice. We'll see, but on paper, it looks good.
Kyle.
Yes.
I think this is your next tweet.
Is it?
Oh no!
I
Rutgers and Maryland are going to be football powerhouses in 15 years.
Yep.
Oh man!
In 10 years, Kyle. 5 even.
They're the next LSU.
I'll do it right now.
Alabama.
I'll do it right now, Austin.
Please don't.
They're the next LSU Alabama duo.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this?
What'd you say, Austin?
High school backups.
I'm tagging. Oh, don't you?
Don't you dare, bro.
Maybe we should decide which tweets want to be associated with Kyle.
No, I'll retweet it. I don't care.
Let's go. Bad publicity is good publicity.
Oh my lord! All right,
we
boys.
just have a copy and paste disclaimer for any time Kyle posts something
boys.
The roster crap that was earlier this week.
We are moving on to NBA free agency. We've got winners and losers of the early free agency window. All of us, I believe, are getting in on this. I will start solely, because it goes, and then we'll go in alphabetical order. Me, Andrew, Austin, Kyle, Steve, Justin. You're in there somewhere in the middle. I don't know anymore. I don't know what the alphabet is.
No,
bro, ask me how tired I am. I did a simulated. I did a simulated writing portion of the essay this morning. I am tired.
A simulated portion. It took you 4 hours.
No, it took me 6. It's a full day. It's a full exam. I'll tell you off air. It's a great time.
Yeah.
It was good. It was fine, but I'm tired. So yeah, no, I have a list of all the moves that every team went through. There are a couple teams that didn't make any moves. That includes the Atlanta Hawks and the Utah Jazz. You've got some teams that made some more questionable or, just lost a lot of players. I would say the Philadelphia 76ers are in that, losing 3 players that kind of contributed to the basketball team and only bringing in Pat Bev. But when it comes to winners, I'm going to start with one. Honestly, give some credit to what the Houston Rockets did. There are a lot of teams in here I think I could shout out, but I think the Houston Rockets did a wonderful job. They haven't lost anybody in free agency because they didn't have any expiring contracts, and if they did, they brought them back. They go and get Fred VanVleet. They go and get Dillon Brooks, who, as much as we love to shit on Dillon Brooks is a good basketball player and for the most part does what he's supposed to do. LeBron can shit on anybody in the NBA, and I don't hold that against Dillon Brooks. He shouldn't have poked the bear. There was no reason to do that. But at the very least, it was entertaining, and I had fun with it. I think Jock Landale's a decent addition. So is the veteran presence of Jeff Green, who's fresh off a championship, will help the young core grow. I think Fred VanVleet will do that. He's won a title. He'll help the young core grow. They did pretty well. I think their moves also indicate that they have to trade Kevin Porter Jr., which is something that they probably should have done anyway. He hasn't been what they thought he was going to be. I still think KPJ could be a good basketball player in the NBA, but their recent moves have told me that they're going to move off KPJ in the near future. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Anybody else? Andrew.
I have to say for a winner, the Lakers. Re-signing Austin Reeves that 4-year max extension, big help. They were really scared they were going to lose him. Also bringing back Rui Hachimura. A lot of these guys that they traded for in the mid-season before the deadline, they brought back on some contracts to try to keep that team and kind of build it with some young spots. So hopefully they can keep LeBron for another season or so. But LeBron's still up in the air. But like they still have Anthony Davis. They're trying to build a roster to kind of complement each other and kind of just see where they can go. So I really think the LA Lakers took a win there.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they had three of the more underrated moves in free agency. First, bring back Austin Reeves for what is a fair market for Austin Reeves. I think they're paying him $16 million a year. That's probably a little bit under market. They brought back D'Angelo Russell. They brought in Gabe Vincent, and I think the most underrated move of all of free agency is them bringing in Jackson Hayes as a big man behind Anthony Davis.
That is fair.
They killed it. I mean, they lose Dennis Schroeder, who wasn't playing. They replace him with Gabe Vincent. I think I'd rather have Gabe Vincent at this point after what Gabe Vincent just did to everybody, minus the Denver Nuggets. They lose Troy Brown Jr., but who cares? Malik Beasley off the bench kind of messes with your lineups a little bit, and Lonnie Walker, but you add Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince, and Taurean Prince came for next to nothing. So, no, they did a great job. You're right, Andrew. Austin, who is one of your bigger winners from NBA free agency?
So kind of piggybacking off that, I kind of want to say the Lakers because they did bring back everything that was important to them after going to the Western Conference Finals, but at the same time, they still have not brought in really any shooting.
Yeah.
They brought in Prince, but everybody else there has always struggled to shoot.
I mean, Cam Reddish is pretty decent. Like, he's not
more,
great.
They
He's
do
not
a lot
bad.
more interior defending. They do a lot of defending work, which
I
is
think
good for them. But like,
I think they're, yeah, I agree
feel
with
like
you.
they're trying to make some trade assets. Trying to find something to trade probably mid-season. I would not be surprised if somehow some of these players get traded halfway through the season for Kyrie going to LA. Would not be surprised. Just putting that out there right now.
I think
I
there's
just
no
feel like
time to go with it.
I feel like something like that would happen just out of the blue. Somebody would say, you know what, in the Lakers organization, you know what, we want Kyrie right now. Let's go get him. And trade away some decent assets that they have right now.
I mean, that'd be the dream for them. But Austin,
Oh, it'd be the
Yeah. I would say for me, it's hard to say that they definitely won it. Like, I definitely think they are a winner probably just because they did go out and get good stuff. We'll see if Gabe Vincent can survive away from Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and the Heat culture because a lot of the guys that they get undrafted or late like that, like him, tend to do nothing away from the team. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, I think they're gearing up to try to stop Jokic. I think that's why you're seeing the interior defense coming in. And then, so I'd say for now they are a winner. I'd say I'm iffy on the whole Rockets. I think I kind of disagree with you, Jake, on that. I think they've just, I mean, you're stockpiling talent, so I guess that's not a bad thing usually, but it's some of them are not necessarily the fits you would think they would go for, but I guess if they're just trying to get some older veterans that can help their young guys, and that makes sense.
Yeah, for me it was about acquiring. Like, they got better is how I looked at it. They haven't lost anybody, and they added players. Like, they added a lot of talent. That's how I looked at it.
And they had room, obviously, to just spend money. So they, to me, it was like I would have waited. If I was GM, I would have waited. Go get a veteran that will help, but don't go out and just spend a bunch of money because you're gonna want that money in 2 years if your guys pan out. That's my thinking is, okay, if the guys you drafted do really well and they're looking like they'll be studs, in 2 years when there's some big free agents that you're going to want, or 3 years, now you can go and pair them and go win a championship, but that's just me. So I think, to me, they're not really a winner or a loser. I think the Celtics were big winners based on the stuff they've done. And then the biggest loser to me right now, although the trade didn't come through and I do like it for him, is the Mavericks were signing Kyrie. I think they had to, but they're not winning a championship for another 6 years, in my opinion, unless they win some gold somewhere. So I think they're the biggest loser right now.
I think that's a bit dramatic.
Just saying they're gonna lose to Luka in the next 2.
Kyle,
I mean,
nobody. It's been how many years since What? It's been 6 years already since Kyrie was in Cleveland.
7.
Yeah.
6.
I don't think that's a bit dramatic. Look where he's been in 6 years.
I mean,
Yeah, but I'm only saying it's dramatic right now because I want to see a full year of that Luka Kyrie connection.
I mean, I do
But
like.
I don't-
I do like them going and getting Graham Williams. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he'll be a value for them. But
I don't know,
I'm
Austin.
just
I think
saying-
6 years is a lot. I think that's a lot.
Okay. So what do you need to see? How long is Kyrie there for? What, another 4 years?
I struggle to say that they're losers. I like the fact that they went out and got Seth Curry, who adds another shooter
Yeah.
to that roster. And I also like the addition of Dwight Powell. So, like, I get it. I get why you're like, okay, Kyrie is a locker room cancer. Like, that's an F. Like, I get it. But I wouldn't call them the biggest losers here. I mean,
Yeah.
Like,
I genuinely, I don't mind the Kyrie signing because it's like you had to trade assets to get him. So
Okay,
why are you going
but, like,
to let him? Like, if they let him walk, I'd be like, yeah, that's an L. Like that.
But
is-
it's like
I agree with you.
So it's like a lose-lose situation. I mean, they bring him back and he's a cancer, or they let him go and he's an L because you had to trade a first-round pick for him anyway.
But I mean,
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
you look at the
But
Mavs,
it's only-
they got over his. They didn't like bypass his antics. I think we discussed that like when the trade first happened. We said like if the Mavs can get past his antics, and the fans don't get behind him on his antics and start jarring him up and getting him all riled up about it and make him a whole entire media fiasco, I think he could produce. He produced decently down at and after the trade happened.
he didn't
And-
even
well,
play
he's
the
not
whole
forget-
time, right? He was injured for some of it, right?
Right, but when he was there, he did produce. So as long as like I think they bypassed his antics, and they keep going on without like having the fans and the media get really involved in that, I think you're gonna deal with a Kyrie who, if he comes back fully healthy, fully restored, and is on a right track mind, we could definitely see something out of the Mavs. But like you guys said, he's like a dark horse. You never know what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I think that's false only for the fact that you know what you're gonna get, and that's he's gonna give you 27. He's probably gonna give you 6 or 7 assists when he's there.
but the big question is whether he wants to play basketball or not, because like he could just
Well,
miss
it's not even
41
that.
games
When
because he
he's
doesn't
there-
play.
When he's there, people don't win. Like he never won with Cleveland until LeBron got there. He left there, came to the Celtics, and the Celtics won in spite of him, not because of him. We went to the conference finals twice without him
Yeah, he was
and
injured.
then-
And,
on both times, so he didn't do anything to get us there. And then the one he did play with us, we lost. And then he goes to Brooklyn, and they get bounced in
first round
the
by the
second round,
Celtics and a sweep.
the first
Yeah,
round by the
but-
Celtics, and they got they almost went there.
Well, he wasn't.
but
he
again,
wasn't healthy for the
he was
second
hurt.
round exit with the Bucks.
Right, he was hurt. So and then he goes to Dallas,
And then he decides he doesn't
they
want to play and gets traded to Dallas.
Right, and Dallas before he got traded there was in playoff contention, were they
They
not?
were like fourth in the conference. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Fourth or
goes there,
fifth.
and they go to the bottom.
They didn't even make the play-in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that
I
was
don't
the thing.
think okay, but I don't think he's the sole reason they lost.
Well, Luka was also hurt at some point, right?
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
Luka was out for a big stretch of that run.
But they also
I'm not-
traded away some key asset players that they could have kept.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it was strictly him, but the problem is, no matter where he goes, he does not win if it's him. And so unless Luka can carry him, because Durant tried it and he didn't quite be able to carry him, LeBron did it, and then
I mean, Luka's gotten to a
No,
conference
I was
championship.
gonna say, I think
They
Luka
gave
can do
Kyrie
it.
2 stars surrounding him in Brooklyn,
Mhm.
and he still couldn't do it.
I don't
I
think
mean,
yeah.
James Harden counts.
I think
Hold on,
Kyrie
I
was
don't-
the
He's
worst
still-
of the
he's
three.
still
What do you
No,
mean?
James Harden can put up.
Kyrie's the worst of the
30 to 40.
three. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
be
I'm saying.
honest.
I know,
like,
Jake. I know.
They gave
James
him
Harden's
2 stars.
adaptable at least.
I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna be tough for me to ever be convinced a team is better with Kyrie Irving, or
I mean, that's
Right.
fair.
or at
that's
least
fair.
with.
That's why
Or
I'm
at the
saying
very
he's going to go
least,
to the Lakers.
if you-
At some point this season, he's going to end up in LA.
Also, kind of how I like to look at things. It's how you're gonna go. Like the goal
Steve,
of
should
every
I
sport
consider
is-
the Mavs as your losers then too?
I mean, no, because the thing is, it's an L that they don't sign him because you gave up assets for him. If you didn't give up assets for him, then it's fine. Let him walk.
they
But
just signed
at-
Jalen Brunson.
he's not my lose. So my winner. I have my
that's okay.
winners- Yeah. So
Yeah, they could have just
For
kept
winners-
Jalen Brunson, but hey.
Like what?
no,
Anyway,
I'm gonna. So anyway, so going my winners and losers, I have some like on the outside may not be a winner or loser, but you look into the context of things. So I'm gonna put the Grizzlies. I'm gonna give them some credit for getting someone like Marcus Smart because you're getting yourself an actual defender.
Mhm.
He's also can score. I mean, we've shown that. I mean, granted, we forced the ball in his hands, but he's also a very good scorer. But at the same time, he won Defensive Player of the Year. That's better than Brooks. I mean, all I know about Brooks is this playoff series where he kept running his mouth and embarrassed his team. But then also, I mean, I love watching NBA fight highlights, and I see this guy all the time. So that's not somebody you want on your team.
That's the
But
exact kind of dude I want on my team. Me and JJ
sure.
Redick, bro.
Okay. Anyways, but then also you get into, I mean, John Morant. It's the best they can do in this situation for a talented player throwing his life away. So now for another winner. I mean, I got to throw in the Celtics here. I mean, I love the trade the Celtics get to get themselves a very tall center or a very great scorer. The thing is, we live and die by the three, and if we just make ourselves better at shooting the three, I mean, no matter what, considering considering just trying to outscore our opponent, we definitely crushed and dominated last year when we were able to. And if we're better at it, we're better at it. You know, we're also losing cap space, moving Grant Williams, moving Marcus Smart, trying to free up as much cap space as possible because we're going to pay way too much for Jaylen Brown. So I get it. But for losers, this one's going to seem kind of surprising, but I kind of am not sold so much on the Lakers only because this playoffs was running through a gassed LeBron James, and Anthony Davis did not show up. When you have a future, when this man was supposed to be your future, LeBron's looking to pass the baton to somebody. I don't blame him for wanting to be on a team where if he wants to be great for 3 games out of a series, that is fantastic because you get great LeBron for 3 games. Those are 3 automatic wins. But when you're still having him carry your team, there's not much you can do. You also got smacked around by Denver. I mean, realistically, as long as Denver's still kicking, any move this team does to not be able to counter somebody like Jokic, but then also not exhaust your players, there's not much you can really do. And Golden State is kind of a weird mid. I don't see the Chris Paul trade as much of a win because he's still an older player. You still have your stars are very great scorers historically, but you start getting up in age and there isn't much you can do. I mean, who knows? You throw a complete 180 and you sign, or Draymond Green signs his deal for his player option.
That was ridiculous.
I mean, Draymond Green
they just gave him 40 mil, dude.
Yeah, I think if you're able to bait him in and sign his player deal and then trade him, that's great. That'd be great. Try to develop, just get some draft picks. Go with that. Draymond Green, I'm sorry, but here's the problem with him. He is starting. So why he got suspended for a game when he stomped on that player who grabbed his ankle? You have to remember specifically the NBA said that it was in part of he was showboating after, which was stupid, but also it's because of his history. So now Golden State, Draymond Green definitely isn't the player he used to be. Now that he's showboating more, the NBA is going to have a bigger magnifying glass on him, watching him, everything he does, because now he's built a history of being, quote unquote, a dirty player at times. So I think it's time to move off of him. I think it's time maybe to start building your future. I think you guys had a great run against the Celtics, even though it broke my heart. But I think now it's time for them maybe to do some resale. Keep Steph Curry. Of course you should. But maybe instead of trying to get an old Chris Paul to slap a Band-Aid on a flex tape to hope that'll hold everything together with being able to score a lot, no matter what, you're still a smaller, older team. And it's going to be tough going up against Denver or eventually going up against potentially Boston or just a pissed off Embiid. But
well, I'm thinking that the Warriors are going with Curry at the point.
They'll probably run Paul Curry at the 2.
I was gonna say Curry at the 1, Paul at the 2, Thompson at the small forward,
Wiggins at the 4, and Draymond at the 5. Yeah, it's gonna be awful. No, I mean, I would flip Paul and Curry in that scenario because I don't think it matters position-wise who carries the ball or whatever. But
either way, but like you got 2 guys, so you have Thompson and Curry who still can shoot from outside, but like you're putting small forward Klay Thompson up against some guy who can't defend perimeter and does more interior small forward protection. So like you got a guy who's gonna probably score more points that way in a situation.
Actually, I've been thinking about this too. What's Milwaukee been up to this offseason as well?
Milwaukee actually had a W free agency.
They did.
If you don't they're one of my winners. I didn't go through all of
Good.
them. I have my losers. I'll do them after. But Milwaukee retained Chris Middleton, retained Brooke Lopez, signed Robin Lopez, re-signed Jay Crowder, and got Malik Beasley from the Lakers. And all they lost in that was Joe Ingles and Javon Carter. I gave him a B+. I thought it was a solid offseason.
Good.
But Kyle, winners, losers.
Yes.
I'll do my losers at the end because I was just going to wait for it anyway.
I'm going to start with my loser because my winner is going to be a fun one to talk about.
Oh, God. Here we go.
My loser, I have to give it to the Blazers.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. I like their Jeremy Grant signing, but now it's just gonna look like it's a massive overpay when they're tanking for next season. And
especially if they don't.
Yeah, they just signed Jeremy Grant. Now they have to move him. They drafted Scoot, great move. I love it. It's gonna be a good sign. He's gonna be a great player for them. But when you're losing, you sign Jeremy Grant. Now you're gonna end up having to tank because Dame wants out. He was supposed to be your franchise guy forever and ever and ever, and now he wants out. You have Jeremy Grant, which is all they really added to help him. It's not the biggest help in Portland. Blazers fans are down bad right now.
Not gonna lie, if they go and get Porzingis, I think Dame's not worried about it right now. I think Dame is sitting at home chilling. But I agree with you. I've got teams that were worse than them there.
Yeah,
but
that's fine. But my winner, it's got to go to the Villanova Knicks. I'm sorry, I mean the New York Knicks. My bad.
My Lord,
wow.
In what world?
Dante DiVincenzo is actually a really big signing for the Knicks. So you guys already mentioned other teams I was going to talk about, so I don't think there's any.
That's fair.
There's no need for me to repeat them. So I'm going to give it to a team that I actually really like their move. Don't get me wrong, they could have done more, but I like what they did in getting Dante. I am really pissed they traded Obi, though. Obi-Wan Kenobi no longer on the Knicks. I'm devastated.
Oh, my Lord. I'm not even going to entertain this with a discussion. Justin.
No, wait a second. Hold on. You can go in a second, Justin. But I actually really hate that Obi trade, not because he was my favorite player on the Knicks, but also because they only got 2 second-round picks for him. It doesn't make sense.
Obi trade was dumb.
It doesn't make sense. But anyway, go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I didn't see my name on for NBA, so I did not have
I might have
anything.
just assumed that everybody was talking about it. It's okay.
I'm good to go. Everyone is a winner because they're tall enough to play basketball.
I mean, that's fair. That is actually fair.
I'll take it.
Bro, that's W's. No, I'm surprised that none of you mentioned this. The Phoenix Suns have had an absolute W free agency.
Yeah.
Quite literally, I mean, you're sitting at a point where you thought you only had 4 guys on the roster. They go out and get a good vet in Eric Gordon, who can still shoot. Mm-hmm. They go and get Damian Lee, Keita Bates-Diop, who produced for the Spurs last year, Drew Eubanks. I think Chimete Metu is one of the more underrated signings. Josh Okegi, God, I can't never pronounce his last name right. And then Yutu Watanabe. God, I can't pronounce these names. Honestly, I think that's really that's solid moves. That's another winner for me personally. Other teams that we have not mentioned that I had in my losers. First and foremost, we talked about the Golden State Warriors. I think it's an L. But the Toronto Raptors, dude. Sorry, Steve.
No, it's fine. I was hoping we wouldn't have to talk about them because their offseason makes me want to cry.
They re-signed Jacob Poeltl, which allowing Fred VanVleet to leave and re-signing Jacob Poeltl doesn't make any sense to me.
Jakob.
Delano Banton wasn't he's a rotational piece, but you still let him go. So you don't have a point guard left on the roster from what I understand, and Delano Banton goes to the Celtics. You signed Dennis Schroeder, who is Dennis Schroeder. He'll give you some good minutes, I guess. And Jalen McDaniels, who actually could end up being a decent rotational piece. But losing Fred VanVleet is huge, and I think that, I just don't know the direction the Raptors are going in, because they continuously tell us that they want to contend, but everything they do tells me that they want to tank.
Yes.
At this point, just trade Pascal, keep Scotty Barnes, and tank. It's okay. Scotty Barnes is young enough to go tank. Pascal is not.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's my biggest loser. I think it's the Warriors and the Raptors at this point. I didn't take trades into account when I did this. I was only looking at free agency in general, so I'm glad that some
Fair
people are
enough.
spinking into some of the trades.
Yeah.
And at this point, we have only 2 more things left. We've got the NHL free agency winners and losers. This is Justin and Kyle. Justin, I'm sorry. I read your name off the bottom of this one.
No worries. I prepared for this one, thankfully.
Oh, good, dude. And then we've got a mystery question from Kyle, which I'm kind of worried about. I'm not going to lie. But Kyle, Justin.
What's my favorite bad sports take that I've said?
Oh, my Lord. Kyle,
I've
Justin.
had worse. I've had worse, Steve.
Take on the NHL.
Justin, do you want to just do every other? Like I didn't do with Jake?
What
like
do you mean?
Like you say a winner, I say a winner, then you say a loser, I say a loser, stuff like that? Is that what you want to do?
I was just gonna list off the 2 teams that I'm looking at that is like winners and I've the Bruins being a winner and then just Detroit being a loser because everyone is so excited for Lucic. I feel like.
Wow, you and I disagree on those 2.
Really?
But anyway,
I feel like all over Twitter and Facebook it's like Lucic returns.
It's Lucic, by the way.
Lucic, thank you.
Lucic, you're welcome.
I am looking at all of the free agents, and a lot of the players that the Bruins did have are leaving. The problem with the Red Wings that I had is there is so many 1-year contracts in here.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the Red Wings one, and then I'll debate the Bruins one in a second. So the reason I think the Red Wings pieces are good is because they actually filled a lot of holes on their roster. So
Okay.
while those 1-year contracts are weird and they are an overpay, it's actually good that they overpaid for only 1 year instead of more because they actually really filled holes in their roster. So I think the Red Wings can now actually compete in the Atlantic Division, whereas before they were just floundering out there. Now, when it comes to the Bruins, Jake, we don't hear you, Jake.
You're lucky. I was about to roast the shit out of you.
Why'd you say? I saw your mouth moving. But
I was like, this is coming from the guy who said the Bruins were the worst roster in the Eastern Conference yesterday.
Oh!
Yeah, if you haven't seen that yet, go roast Kyle in the Twitter comments.
Sarcasm exists, boys.
No,
but anyway,
it's dead. And you killed it.
So, okay,
I don't know. Sometimes we don't know the differences with you, Kyle, so we'll see.
Fair enough, Steve. Fair enough. So, okay. The reason I'm saying the Bruins are actually a loser isn't because of who they signed. They did sign great pieces, but it's more of what they lost. Bergeron still hasn't re-signed with them. David Krejci still hasn't re-signed with them. Jeremy Swayman still hasn't re-signed with them. And they lost out on Dmitry Orlov and Tyler Bertuzzi, who they brought in to be long-term pieces during the trade deadline. It's just not going like the Bruins. If they're able to re-sign the 3 people I named, then their season turns into a win. Like then they move toward the win. As it stands right now, without those key pieces signed, their first line center, I can't even remember his name right now. Like right now as it is. The Bruins just didn't do enough to refill their holes. That's my problem.
Though, do you feel like
Pavel Zacha is their first line center? So yeah. Anyway, you were saying yes.
Do you feel like Bergeron would actually play for any other team? Because he is
No. I think it's coming down to him either retiring or re-signing. I don't think he's looking at playing for another team. I don't think he'd even consider it. Like if any other team's even reaching out to him, he's immediately ignoring their calls. Like he's not even entertained. Like they could be giving him $20 million. He would not entertain it. He wants to be a Bruin for life. Like that is
Bergeron is what everyone thought Brady was going to
be. Essentially, Brady left not because he necessarily wanted to. It's just because of how things ended up going with Bill Belichick and. It kind of spiraled out of control with Brady. With Bergeron, he's more of sticking around for the long haul. I don't think he's going to... If he leaves, it's because he's retired, not because he's signing with the other team.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a couple other winners and losers.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit of bias, but I have a reason behind it. I do think the Rangers are a winner because of who they signed are all under $1 million contracts. Blake Wheeler.
Check the background.
Yeah, okay. Blake Wheeler,
Grace,
Jonathan.
the American flag right behind you.
Oh, whoa,
Whoa.
Blake Wheeler, Jonathan Quick, Nick Bonino, Tyler Pitlick, all pieces that are going to be in our starting lineup on opening day, all signed for less than $1 million. That is essentially what this team needed. We needed more depth because that was what we were lacking, and that's what we signed. And we didn't have to pay a whole lot for it. I did mention in my notes, though, that like the Bruins, how their season could become a win, the Rangers could become a loss if they don't re-sign Alexi Lafreniere or Keandre Miller. Then I do think the Rangers didn't quite do what they wanted to this offseason. So my Bruins and Rangers takes kind of offset each other. I do think, I do think that's just like they kind of offset each other here. I like the NHL draft where the Maple Leafs absolutely tanked. The Maple Leafs actually still continue to tank in the offseason. And I predict they'll have another first round exit. They signed some key guys. Yay. They didn't address their key need. They didn't address their lack of scoring in the playoffs when it mattered most. They didn't sign anyone to be tough when they needed to. They didn't sign anyone physical. They signed, like, other than Tyler Bertuzzi, who's probably the biggest piece that they signed. Everyone else on that they did sign doesn't address what they need. And Tyler Bertuzzi can only be what they need if they play him right. What as it stands right now, he's going to be on their third line. Not quite what Toronto needs him to be. It's basically what I have. I did kind of have the Coyotes as a kind of mini winner. Just because the Coyotes did sign some random people that I'm like, oh, hey, they're actually kind of good. They signed Jason Zucker, Alex Kerfoot, and Nick Bukestad.
Bro, they don't need kind of good. They need generational down in Arizona.
They do. They need generational.
Bedard.
Yeah, and they decided they didn't want to suck that bad. They decided they wanted to suck, just not suck enough.
Listen.
Arizona, when it comes to looking at who they signed, though, I think they actually did really well with who they signed and the contracts they're giving up. I don't think they're doing anything astronomical.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if that is the end of the segment, I think you guys did a good job there. I agree with most of it. I don't think the Rangers are correct. I technically agree with Justin's take on the Bruins for different reasons, but that's okay. Kyle, you're scaring me. What the fuck is this mystery question?
Oh, you're being dramatic.
I am not being dramatic.
You're being dramatic. It's not going to be that bad.
You're being dramatic.
As many of you know, yesterday was our 4th of July celebration, our Independence Day.
Lord.
So got me thinking. And Steven's birthday. I'm sorry, I can't forget.
Yeah, the real important thing that happened
happy
yesterday.
birthday to Andrew, whose birthday was on Monday. And happy birthday, Steve, whose birthday was yesterday. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, America.
I think it's funny that, like, Andrew's birthday is when most of the fireworks actually take place for 4th of July.
Yes,
as well.
It's true. But anyway, it got me thinking, since it was 4th of July, one of the big things that happens on 4th of July is our barbecues. So that got me wondering, if you could pick any 4 athletes, past and present, to invite to your 4th of July barbecue, who would you invite and why?
I got mine. I'm ready.
All right, Steve, you'll start. Go for it.
First, I got Gronk. He's fun. It's a good time. I love it.
Yep.
Next, I got Josh Gordon. And if you know why, you know why. Next, I mean, I might be going homebody here, but I got to throw Jules in there, Julian Edelman.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
He would be so much fun. Now, the last player, there are many options here, but I think just because he's really rich and would just bring just some weird expensive crap, let me just I'm going to go with Lionel Messi. Why? I mean, granted, my family would disown me because he played for Argentina, but there's a slight chance that Salt Bay will be attached to the hip of this man and just bring just Wagyu steak that we can grill. And Messi is super rich, so he'll bring, like, oh, I brought a small party gift, and it's like Lagavulin whiskey that's like $150 a bottle.
Bro,
so
what in the world?
Yeah.
All right, Justin, who are you inviting?
All right, so I couldn't tell if this was gonna be an easy or a hard question. I got 3 names pretty much down.
All right.
Obvious one, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I agree with Julian Edelman for Steven.
Mhm.
This is one that other people probably wouldn't do, but I met him in person and it was so fun. Joe Andruzzi. And I would say for one more, I would say I would either go Brad Marchand or Patrice Bergeron.
All right.
Yeah.
If it's Brad Marchand, I'm skipping your barbecue,
No,
Justin.
you're not. We're dragging you.
He's a
I'm not
secret
going.
invite that
Against
Kyle
your
won't
will.
know about.
I'll
I
make
don't
sure
wanna-
he gives you a lick on the ear.
I was just gonna say I don't want to get licked. No, I'm good.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
straight
Jake.
cat coming
Oh,
from Kyle.
man.
Doesn't like to get
All
looked in the
right.
ear. Sure.
Ah.
I
Jake,
feel
you're
like
up.
Tom Brady's an obvious choice, so I'm not gonna go there. I am gonna go with the two people I've been told that I look like. So we're gonna go with Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel. Those are the two.
I
Dude.
don't see Johnny Manziel at all. I
Okay,
don't.
Johnny
I see-
Manziel
I see
is
when I
gonna
was
like.
I
when
see
I
the
was
bearded-
when I
I
was
see the
skinny
bearded
when I was
Johnny Manziel
skinnier,
now.
my face kind of looked like Johnny Manziel.
Alright.
I can see the bearded version of him.
That was like 20 pounds ago, but that's okay.
Dude, Baker Mayfield's just gonna get drunk and be like, Colin Coward doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I mean,
yeah.
he's right and you're right. So,
Yeah.
oh man, Johnny's such a party animal too. That would be a fun time.
He is.
Any athlete, past or present. Damn, that's
Any
tough.
athlete, past or present.
You know what? Bring me Marshawn Lynch because I think that's a hilarious time.
Yo, that'd be sick.
And honestly, you know what? I just want to stand next to Shaq. So bring me Shaq. Let's just have a good
There you
time.
go.
Dude, he could be your DJ for your party too.
That would be sick. Actually, hold on a minute. I'm gonna rescind Shaq. Bring me Damian Lillard. I'll have him rap at the barbecue.
Oh, there you go.
No, dude, Antonio Brown. He's the best
No,
rapper.
Oh,
Fuck
no.
that.
Oh god.
All right.
At least,
All right,
at least
Austin.
Dame is actually good at rap. Damn, Austin, let's go.
All right, Austin, you're up.
This was honestly, Kyle. This is a good question. So since it's 4th of July, give me. I'm going all American here. I'm going Michael Phelps.
All right.
Nice one.
I'm going Misty May Trainer and Kerry Walsh.
Oh,
Okay.
nice duel. That's iconic right there.
Does that count as one or two?
That's
No, that
two,
counts
that's
as two.
that's
That counts as
that's
two.
Okay. Oh
no.
And then
That's two.
the last one. It's hard. I'm trying to think about who I wanted, but
Big Shaq.
Yeah, you can take Shaq.
no, Shaq's
Ja
actually good
Morant.
Ja.
Definitely not good for life. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with it. He's not American, but give me Usain Bolt. I feel like he's different. He's awesome.
That's fair.
All
That's
right.
all right. I'm
Yeah,
down.
very good. All right, Andrew.
Get me Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring in our newest American striker, Valerian Balogun, because I share a birthday with that man.
Love it.
That's
Okay.
fair.
So why not? I'm gonna bring in Alex Morgan,
Mhm.
greatest American striker of all time on the women's side. And to top it all off, I'm gonna bring in Landon Donovan. I just want to
Oh.
know
I
that
like
man.
that. I
Landon
Okay,
Donovan is a
okay.
legend in America.
Yeah.
So-
I like
Kyle.
all of that. Kyle,
And-
great question.
Thank you. Andrew, you stole one that I was gonna do. I was gonna take Alex Morgan. I'm
She's
still
so funny.
I'm
Bro,
still taking
I had a
Alex
crush
Morgan.
on her when I was
No,
younger.
I also
We're just
had
gonna
a
put
crush
it
on
out there.
I also did, but also when
That's
the
pretty
USA World Cup had when USA won in 2019, I think is when the last Women's World Cup was. When they won in
Yeah, it
2019.
won back to back so
Uh,
far. They're going for a three-peat now.
Alex Morgan looked like she knew how to party after
Yes.
after they won. So I'm taking Alex Morgan to be able to bring the good vibes. I'm bringing this guy because I got to meet him when I was in 8th grade. Even though he played for the Red Sox, he was a super nice guy, and I'm so happy I got to meet him. I'm bringing Pedro Martinez because he was just
Yep.
such a nice guy. I just hope he doesn't throw me to the ground for being a Yankees fan.
I was gonna guess you were gonna say Ortiz.
I did not get to meet her. Ortiz would be fun though. But I'm not.
Big
I'm not
Papi.
bringing Big Poppy. I'm gonna bring my birthday twin, Kemba Walker.
Hey, Kemba.
Hey,
I'm
Kemba,
sorry
I
for
gotta
him.
bring
Ardiak
know.
Kemba.
bringing Kemba, and then I'm gonna bring my favorite New York Giant of all time, Victor Cruz.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say
I
Eli.
Like Victor, I like
No.
Victor Cruz. That's
I'll
a
bring
good
legs
list.
inside.
Good solid list, boys.
Just bring
Kyle-
Daniel Jones to your party and just ask him about his bowl cut.
Kyle, great question.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
As always,
That's good.
guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. As always, click that like button, leave a comment, let us know what we did well, let us know what we didn't do well. Go follow us on all our socials, High School Backups on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And have a good day. Peace.
Peace.